Denver 7 Now is sponsored by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
I'm Shannon Ogden with your Denver 7 Now update. A case that has haunted Larimer County deputies for 23 years tonight is finally being put to rest. August 24th, 1996, two boys found the body of a newborn inside a plastic garbage bag in Horsetooth Reservoir. Nobody knew her name, nobody knew who her parents were, so deputies started calling her Baby Faith, never giving up hope they would catch who put her there.
I came to know a newborn girl who was left by choice, not by chance. I knew then, as I know today, she didn't deserve to be left alone.
Today, deputies announced the arrest of Jennifer Catalinich. And out of fear for compromising the investigation, they are not releasing her connection to the child, but they did say they tracked her through DNA evidence. Catalinich is charged with first-degree murder. Well, we now know the state's strongest physical evidence that Kelsey Barrett was murdered by her one-time fiancé, Patrick Frazee, may be two surveillance videos. An investigator was questioned today about two of these clips of footage today. One shows a black tote in the back of Frazee's truck, and another taken 3 hours later shows that same tote in a different position. Prosecutors insist Barrett's body was inside that bag. Frazee's attorneys argue there is no video, though, showing Frazee actually coming into contact with that bag. Trial resumes tomorrow, and at this rate, Crystal Kenny, the case's key witness and Frazee's former girlfriend, could take the stand this week. Well, China is in the midst of one of the largest outbreaks of pork disease in history. More than 500,000 pigs wiped off the map by a swine fever so insidious it's being likened to Ebola. And a lot of us, I think, are quick to look at this and say it's terrible, but nothing like this is going to happen here in Colorado. But experts insist not only is it possible, it could be intentional. Denver 7's Russell Haythorne with this report from CSU.
During the past few years, the U.S. poultry and pig industries have experienced disease outbreaks, but nothing like what's happening in China with the African swine flu.
60% of all the pigs are, either already infected or they're just killing them.
And that's why Asha George and others with the U.S. Biodefense Commission are at CSU. The threat that it could easily happen here.
It could easily spread to American livestock as well.
The bipartisan commission says it goes beyond naturally occurring outbreaks. There are intentional threats as well.
Russia, China, Iraq, Iran. What they're trying to do is pursue an advantage using asymmetric warfare.
And terrorist groups possibly pose the most imminent threat.
To contemplate a situation where instead of airplanes into buildings, it's pathogens against humans, pathogens against livestock or crops, and it could have a devastating impact.
And because things move around this planet so quickly, we can have a very serious threat at our doors within 24 hours.
CSU as a host for this forum is no coincidence. U.S. leaders say the institution is leading the charge in biodefense.
This is where people and resources and real focus and priority lies.
This team says the U.S. must develop real countermeasures like vaccines to isolate threats that could cause immeasurable destruction.
But in the absence of those countermeasures, we're screwed.
In Fort Collins,
sounding the alarm that maybe in the past and present, we're not taking the biothreat seriously enough.
Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
There is growing opposition to a plan to restore the gray wolf population on the western slope. This week, Garfield County leaders became the first community to condemn the potential ballot initiative. One commissioner, in fact, went so far as to say he could not imagine how this would be good for anyone in any way. Organizers have collected more than enough signatures to get this on the 2020 ballot. Those signatures still need to be verified. Colorado 1, Delaware 0. Illegal Pete's has not only won a legal fight over its name, but has decided to franchise here rather than out east. The burrito chain wanted to restructure in Delaware, only for the state to refuse because of a negative connotation with the name that presumably referred to the term of the illegal immigrants. Well, founder Pete Turner says the name is a reference to his father. Now, as first reported by Westward, Delaware has settled the lawsuit and agreed to change its guidelines for corporations. However, Turner says he was so turned off by the experience, he is incorporating here in Colorado instead. Well, even in a state with so much of it like our Colorado, plenty of people will tell you they are worried about open space becoming endangered. Well, tonight, the city has agreed to a $6 million settlement with the developer over this 155 acres of land in northeast Denver. Now, you might think that sounds like a resolution. It is not, because as Denver 7's Liz Gilardi reports, these types of arguments, well, are par for the Park Hill Golf Course.
Perfect, Doc.
Once a golf course, now this land is not being used, and it could likely sit like this for a while as the debate about the future of the former Park Hill Golf Course continues.
That's the real question that I think is presented to the community and to City Council, is whether or not we want this property limited to a golf course.
The City of Denver agreed to a $6 million settlement with the property owner, Westside Investment Partners, ending all litigation involving the plot of land, but its future is still very much up for debate.
No park is safe if you allow this process to take place to overturn this easement.
Former Denver Mayor Wellington Webb wants to see a park on this land, not development. When he was mayor, he was responsible for a conservation easement in the late 1990s that only allowed golf-related uses.
So you say the good things to try to get people to buy in. But we have to read through the language. You either want open space land or you don't. Everything else is a game.
The city attorney believes this deal actually gives Denver more leverage because if there's no approved plan, the city can require Westside to restore the land for use as a golf course. But first, residents and city council will be asked to take part in discussions about the site's use.
First of all, tell me.
So we asked the city attorney what she thinks the future of the property will look like. She says that's for the community to help decide.
I think that's an important question for them to be asking, and I think that this settlement opens up the opportunity for those that are impacted by this property, those that have an interest in this property, for the community through a city process to decide what they want the future to be.
Opponents still fear if a developer is involved in the conversation, this land's future has already been decided. Liz Gilardi, Denver 7.
From the First Alert Weather Center, let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. Breezy and a little bit cooler on Wednesday. Stays cool, as you can see, as we wind out the week, but it is dry, and Saturday looks spectacular. Temperatures near 70 degrees for the high. Well, thank you for watching this Denver 7 Now update. Make sure to download the Denver 7 app for your smartphone. It gives you breaking news and alerts around the clock. I'm Shannon Ogden.